A topic that is dear to me recently is generational wealth. As I grow older, as my children grow older, as they advance in school, I find myself thinking more about what will I be able to pass on to them when their time comes to transition, from my primary care into independent living. If you're like me, many of us, we literally had no handout as we're transitioning into adulthood. We had to figure everything out. Many of us, we are the first people in our families probably to even complete university. Those are things that we unheard of, and what we went through just to complete university is a story for another day. For some of you, it is even probably getting married. You're the first person in your family, in your whole lineage and clan to be able to get married, mention but a few. And then if we are not deliberate to create better opportunities for the generation that comes after us, you find that the cycle will never be broken, The next generation will be in lack, just like the previous generation. The next generation will not have employment opportunities because the previous generation did not deliberately create those employment opportunities. Some of you watching this video, your parents or grandparents were able to create structures and systems that you're benefiting from at the moment. So if you are like me and you're the first person to think about creating generational wealth, these are some of the reasons why you need to consider it more than ever before, why you need to focus all your energies on ensuring that you're passing on something to the next generation, even if it was never passed on to you. Number one, you're able to provide educational advancement for the next generation. And this could be through probably the schools they attain. It could be through the quality of education that whether your children or your loved ones are receiving. This could be through, after they are done with a certain level of education, with ease, they can transition to the next level of education. In my generation, most people had to work their way through university, and then also realize because opportunities were not so readily available, we had to do courses that were not really our first priority, but they were either affordable or it's what the university could avail us with. Once you have accumulated wealth to a certain point, you're able to look beyond the options available and you're thinking, what can we be able to do as opposed to what is available? The other reason why it's important to accumulate generational wealth is because it provides entrepreneurial opportunities to either your children or to anyone under your care, or even the country at large. When you look at the GDP of our nation, most of the people who are contributing to it, people who are providing jobs, are people who have over the years accumulated the wealth and they're able to pass it on to their children. So if you're a firm believer in generational wealth creation, it means that your children will have opportunities where to start from, whether it is to run your company or to run your farm, depending on how you plan to accumulate your wealth. They will not be among the statistics of the unemployed. Reason being that there is a foundation that has been set where they can start from. We all crave to be remembered for something we have been able to do. We all crave to leave a positive impact in our communities, to leave a positive impact, in our society. Some people at a national level, others at international level. And that can only be achieved through having a certain level of wealth that has been accumulated. Whether you want to start a foundation, you're able to take children back to school, you want to dig wells, you want to be able to provide health care to the unprivileged and the undeserved, you're able to do that. And your acts of generosity, trust me, they not only benefit the people that are the primary, beneficiaries of whatever you're doing, but they're also able to transform communities and inspire someone who in turn would like to give back because someone gave back to them when they were in need or when they were undeserving. But now, how can one be able to move from poverty to accumulating generational wealth? And these are some of the things that you can be able to do. One, self-education. We cannot undermine the importance of self-education. We cannot undermine the importance of having knowledge. The easiest way to travel the world is by reading. If I read a book, I'm able to travel to Europe. I'm able to travel to the United States. I'm able to travel to South Africa. I'm able to know how those economies are working. So you realize that through reading, through self-education, whether it's even through this video that you're watching right now, you're able to elevate your mind. You're able to broaden your perspective. Sometimes we think the world is as it is because of what we think, because we are limited by our own thinking, we are limited by our own experiences, and we are limited by what surrounds us. But if you're able to broaden your perspective, if you're able to broaden your experiences, then it will show you that whatever you thought was not possible is possible, because there was someone who was in your situation right now that has been able to elevate to the next level. The next way that you can be able to start on that path to creating generational wealth is by increasing your income streams. If you are employed, you work 9 to 5. That does not mean that that is the only way you'll be able to earn. Utilize the hours after work and the hours before work. What are you passionate about that you can be able to monetize? And any income that you make that is extra, use it towards your long-term goals. Invest it in ventures that are able to give you more money. So utilize your skills. What do you know? What do you do? If you're not sure of what your skill sets are, ask people around you, especially those you spend most of your time with. You could realize that you're good at counseling. How are you able to monetize that skill of counseling? Some of us are good at teaching. We are good at getting information and passing it on to other people. Can you find a way to monetize that information? Can you find a way to monetize that knowledge? Some of us have skills, practical skills. You're either good at baking, you're good at doing things with your hands, at decoration. Find a way to monetize those skills that you have so that you're able to increase not only your income streams, but also any extra money that you're making can be put towards investment goals that tie into your journey of wealth creation. It's also important to plan for your succession. In the event that you were to die, do you have a will? In the event that you were to die tomorrow, who would manage your estate? Many times we have seen the reason why wealth has not been able to be passed on to the next generation is because there were never systems and processes in place. The family members had no idea of the businesses you had. The family members had no idea of all these investment opportunities you had. So when you pass on, there is a lack of continuity to the next generation. But even before we think about death, every endeavor you're doing, involve your family. Learn to foster family unity. It could be beyond your nuclear family, your extended family. Do they know what you're doing? Are they able to continue with your legacy in the event of death or permanent disability? So even as we're thinking about creating wealth, accumulating wealth, there needs to be a plan on how that wealth will be managed, on how that wealth will be handled beyond your lifetime. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So if the wealth ends in your generation, that nullifies the concept of generational wealth. Generational wealth simply means it's living beyond you to the third generation. And beyond the third generation, they are able to build onto what the second generation left and then pass it on to the fourth, the fifth, and all the generations that are yet to come. And lastly, invest in personal development. The skills you have, the knowledge you have, the talents you have, make sure that every year you're progressing from one level to another. And this could be in simple things like taking a course, getting certifications, advancing in your career, because the more you invest in personal development, the more you're able to increase your income margin. And the more your income margin increases, the excess, the buffer, is what goes into wealth accumulation. So it's not too hard. It's not far-fetched. It's something that is within our reach. All we have to do is to have the resolve to say, I will be the one that will ensure that the next generation does not go through the things I went through. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so, because it helps us reach more people, hence creating a community of people who are financially independent.